I like to sing la 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 dog training song. I like to train da 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 dogs dog training song. Anyhow, there's like some questions that I get asked and I answer them, and it's kind of how it works. And if you want your question answered, make sure you check out Ask Jeff the Dog Trainer on Facebook, and I will answer your question too and make a cool little live video like this. So anyhow, there is a 6-month-old shi-poo that started thinking going in her kennel at night is a big game of catch me if you can. How do I get her to just go in without the nightly chase? Well, that's a good one. That's a great one. And so someone said start feeding in there. Okay, well, she said she gets food in there at night. Someone said try the bedding too. You know, door open, dog can go in there, and the dog goes in to eat, close the door, leave the dog in there for a while. It also helps drape a cloth over the cage. You know, dogs have a natural draw. Okay. And this person said, I do all that. So someone said, you know, a favorite toy or chew usually does the trick. And, you know, what's going on here is there's lots of different people giving different opinions, and they're all good. But this person in particular has tried all those things, and it's still not working. So what the heck do you do when that happens? Well, I'm going to tell you what you do. Okay, let me give you some more here. So someone said, try having her on a leash. Ooh, I like that. And toss some of her favorite treats in and have her come back out and then repeat. And pick a command you want to use when you want her to go in the kennel. I mean, I think that's like more spot on for the exact situation that you're having. The other things that people recommended are good for kennel conditioning, but not necessarily good for getting her to go in when you want her to. Because here's the thing, a baby can absolutely love playing in their bedroom because they associate it with fun. But at night, if they associate that being the end of fun, they might not want to go in their bedroom, even though they have a great positive association with it. There's toys in there. You can even let them eat in there, video games, whatever. But when the baby views that as bedtime, they're like, no, depending on the age of the baby and how much they like sleeping or not, where most want to stay up and party with mom and dad, all right, or whoever that baby's with. So I really like what this person said about having the leash on, because I am a firm believer until the puppy's going without needing the leash, have the leash on so it doesn't become a catch me game. Catch me if you can is fun. So for a dog, they're going to do that every chance they get. And if you even remotely try to catch them and they realize that it's tough or it's hard, boy, are they going to make it even harder for you the next time, so on and so forth. So eliminating the problem with something easy like hooking up a leash, I'm a firm believer in that. So again, really cool. Now, what I tend to do for things like this is I will use a little reverse psychology. So what I might do is put the dog's food in the kennel and then shut the door and not let the dog in the kennel. And as the dog begs me and like, come on, dude, there's something yummy in there, I might ignore it. And then later, you know, the dog's going to get hungry again and be like, come on, the food's in there, let me in. And I'm like, all right. I guess if you really want in there bad enough, let me open this thing for you. Stay. You can't go in yet. If they try to go in, I might shut the door. Like, no, you're not going in. Not till I give you the magic word. So what this does is it starts conditioning my dog to ask me for permission. And because my dog's asking me to be let in the kennel, I'm doing my dog this mighty favor, which really helps to shape dog behavior. Boy, that sounded good when I said it. At least it felt good coming out of my mouth. So for your dog, you want to use reverse psychology like you would with a child. Oftentimes it works very well. I guess it works for adults too, but it works very well for children and puppies and dogs that don't want to go in their kennels. So for me, once I get that to start happening, well, now I'm going to ask for more distance before I let the dog get what they want. But remember, the one thing rule is always about having your dog do at least one thing that you want before you give them what they want, so they always want to listen to you. Oh, yeah. So here's the dog. It's like, let me in the kennel. I'm like, not yet. Now back up. Now stay back there. and I'm creating a little bit of distance. And instead of just having a generic release command like okay or go eat, now I'm going to use a very specific command over time, go to your kennel. But again, when I'm doing this, the dog's eagerly ready, excited to go in that kennel to get the num-num. Yep. Now, I had someone recently inside of Canine Connect 360, which is an awesome place to get help on a more intimate level, working with me and working with the people inside of there. And we meet every Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I definitely recommend you check it out. It's at askjtdt.com/CC360. At least I think that's what it is. Anyway, but here's the thing. When this person had this particular issue, we coached him, and he, was able to give us like feedback, like, oh, well, here's what I was doing, and here's what's going on, and well, what about this? And so very quickly, he implemented some of this stuff, and it was like, no problem. Dog run into that kennel happily, and that's what we like to see. We like to see a dog that loves the kennel so much, it's like when the door opens, they're diving in it. And there's certain ways that we create that above and beyond what we're discussing right now, if it's needed. But for a lot of dogs, what we're discussing is totally cool and will push them past the point of not liking it and making you chase them around the house, right? So we haven't really got to using the leash yet, because remember, we're just trying to condition up until that point. But let's say it's bedtime, they got to go. Well, here's where you're using that leash. You don't want to take any chance, because again, it's going to be a different association at nighttime, reminding you of what we talked about earlier. A child might love their bedroom. When it comes nighttime, they might hate that bedroom and definitely don't want to go to sleep. So for your dog, they're associating, oh gosh, it's bedtime. Oh no. So putting that food in, having that door shut, and then backing them up further and further, and then releasing them. Now, what's the next phase? Phase 2. Now it's going to get a little squirrely, okay? Because I'm going to get them in the habit of me continuously feeding them by hand a little bit, by throwing some kibble in there. So here's the deal. I have that food waiting. I have that dog stay even further now. They're like almost max length of my house that they can be on the way to that kennel. And I use my special go to kennel magic word command, whatever that is for you. And that dog's now racing to that kennel. They grab the treat. But now I'm going to start tossing a couple cookies in there and let them see before they come out. Here's some cookies. See how fun that is. Yeah. All right, so out they come. We do it again. Food in the kennel. I shut the door. I let some time pass. They're like, let me have that food. I'm like, sure, I'll do you a favor. Go ahead back in your spot. But this time, I sneak the food out of the kennel. So as they're, as I open it, I sneak it out. So I'm like, go to your kennel. Now, if you've done it enough, your dog is going to have zero idea you took that food. I mean, they're just going to go running in there anyway. Okay. Yes, they will. So as you're, and if not, you just didn't do it enough. So your dog goes flying into that kennel. All right. Because they're so far from the room, right? How they, come on, you got to be a little sneaky, but you steal that food. Use your back to block. You open the cage door and just, as you sneak out that food, you continue to open. So they dive in that kennel. They're like, what's the deal? Where's the food? But you immediately throw it in. And they're like, well, that was cool. And so I do that for a while, usually about a week or so. So after that, there's phase 3. Phase 3 is where it gets kind of cool. So now they're way back there. I ask them to go into the kennel. I don't throw the food right away. Now I'm going to put the food in and say, leave it. So you need leave it as a prerequisite for this to really work right, unless you're a dog training ninja and you teach it all at once. Kudos to the dog training ninjas. So now food's in the kennel. Here's leave it. The dog's like, are you serious? And I practice shutting the door. So right as I shut that door, okay, now they're already in the kennel, but I can still use the go to kennel command. Certainly I can, because I've been using that as a release for them to eat the food. So we'll stay out of the weeds a little bit with this one, because it's real easy to get into the nitty gritty with all the commands and how you can alter it slightly to create different things and whatever. But you get the gist. At least I hope you do. If not, let me know and I'll do my best to explain it even better. But what happens is we do that enough. Now, when we say whatever that magic word is, go to the kennel, that dog's racing. Doesn't matter if the food's in there or not, because we've created delayed gratification, which has the expectation the reward is coming with just a little delay. So just to hold on. Go to that kennel and wait. Don't go to that kennel, throw a fuss, bark, and run back out and run around the house like a cuckoo and start eating my socks and slippers. Don't do that. No, just wait right there. The food's coming. So how do I build into the delayed gratification? Well, instead of just leave it, and making them wait there, I might have them wait a little bit as I put the food in. So I might fumble with it like I'm a klutz. I might, grab the food from a particular location and move that location each and every day a little bit further and further so the dog sees I'm going to get the food, but waiting patiently for me to get it, right? There's all sorts of little tricks you can do. But what this does is now when you ask that dog to go to the kennel, they are flying in there. Another thing you can do is play this game prior to going to bed. So it's not just, I play it during the day, then there's this huge time gap. Oh, now it's bedtime, we play. No. Maybe play a lot like leading up to bedtime. So maybe that hour before bed, play once or twice, done. Some time passes, 15 minutes, play again, 3-4 times, done. But get the dog in the habit of this is what's going on. So again, by the time it's actually bedtime, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Oh my goodness, is dog training fun? And we're able to do that without really needing that leash, except for when it's actually bedtime. Definitely put that leash on 10-15 minutes before, even practice with it, because when it's actual bedtime, remember, they might just completely resist and go, So you want to get them past that part first as you're increasing that distance and the duration and their distraction level, right? Because it's a lot tougher further away. Sure is. And you can distract them more and more by knocking on a door or doing something just completely like wild like that while your dog's in that state. Break that stay. Then we're not going in the kennel. You will not get the food you just asked me for. Back to that stay, young puppy of mine. But when you follow through, you're totally going to get to where you want to go, which is Result City. You're going to get there. But the behaviors do not change like magic wand, bloop, done. I mean, I know everyone wishes they could, and in some instances they do. But for most dog behaviors, why are they doing it? Well, it happened over time. They didn't just wake up and say, I don't want to go in that thing. They've learned that nighttime means it's bedtime, so I'm out of here. Let's play the chase game, which is extremely fun. So we want to eliminate the chase game. Ooh, which brings me to my next point. You could turn the chase thing into a game, and it's almost like a variation of putting a command on, let's say, the zoomies, if you would. But you could have a great fun game for your dog that happens during the day. Hey, I'm going to chase you, which I don't recommend, by the way. But if you had to do it, it could be fun and could work out for you, right? You just want to be careful that your dog doesn't think run from you at any other time, except for when you give that magic word or that phrase or whatever it means, or that whatever thing you'll use to identify for your dog it's chase time. But, you give it a go and you're chasing your dog and you're like, all right, enough, stay. Your dog's like, huh? You're like, yep, now come. Good, come, treat. Okay, now run. Whoo, and you chase him again. So it's basically, there are no bad behaviors if you're in control of them. So if you have an on-off switch to the running and there are moments you allow your dog to play the chase, sometimes it reduces their need and desire to want to do it later. What do I mean by that? Well, I was working with a client today at a store where we're allowed to bring in dogs. And the dog's like, I don't want to heel. No, I want to sniff everything there is. And the dog's like, geez, sniff, sniff, sniff. So I'm like, oh, we're not doing that, dog. Stay right there. Okay, good. Now you can sniff it. And the dog's like, oh, no, I don't want to sniff it. You told me to. No way. And so that's what it can be like when you start giving them permission to do some of these things, is it just drops the desire to want to do it all the time. Because what happens is, as soon as you tell a human no, or you can't have it or restrict access, it creates a bigger reason for us to want and desire it. Okay, it's supply and demand. And so if we're supplying our dogs with all sorts of fun with this chase game because we demand them go to the kennel, they're like, no, you really want me to go there, I'm going to play the chase game. But if we demand we play our chase game, right, and we supply them with plenty of reasons to go to that kennel, well, all of a sudden things change. It does. But just like someone telling you, oh, you can never touch the red button. Don't ever press that red button. Don't press it. It immediately makes the brain want to press that red button. So by trying to tell your dog, oh, no, none of this chase stuff, You dig what I'm saying? And this can happen in just about any area of dog training. But the reason I sway from doing it with chase more than anything, that's the thing that can get your dog in big trouble. When you want to come in, you want it right then and there. And that's why doing this can work so well. But you got to be careful. So if you do it wrong, you're just encouraging more chasing. But this is like me allowing a dog to go run and play with a group of dogs. And I'm like, hey, come, and expecting that dog to come back for a reward. And then, okay, go play, and then letting them play, and then calling them back for reward, and letting them play. And that starts to actually build over time drive and reason to come to me. Oh, yeah. So the missing link becomes linking up that leash oftentimes. And usually that's one of the last things people think of, but it's one of the first things all trainers do. And it's super easy. That's why most people don't do it, because most of us are looking for this like super complex answer, because it's tough for us to believe it was right there under our nose the whole time. And oftentimes, I'll tell someone something, and they go, I can't believe I didn't think of that. Why didn't I think of that? And I'm like, well, because you were programmed to think of it a certain way, and that's why you think of it the way you do. I got programmed to think the way I think about it from going to dog training school and then doing this professionally. So I just view it a little bit different. But when you're trying to create the same results that I do, you might want to try doing the same stuff that I teach everyone else to do that gets success each and every time they implement it. Why? Because it simply works. It's just how it is. It's like gravity. What goes up must come down. And when you train a dog right, it just works. It's just how it is. It's like a natural law. Ladies and gentlemen, remember, if you got questions, check out Ask Jeff the Dog Trainer on Facebook. And if you're interested in going deeper and becoming a part of our awesome community, check out askjtdt.com/CC360. Now, you might need to do a capital CC. I can't remember, but you can find it. It's out there. All right. I trust and believe in you. And remember, the fastest way to change your dog's behavior is to change your own. All right. Have a good one. I'll talk to you.